CatSynth TV.
Hey everybody, it's your guest reviewer JB here for CatSynth TV. Today we're going to be talking about the Zappa documentary soundtrack. Before we get started on that, I want to ask you to please subscribe to this channel for more cultural content coming out regularly. And please consider underwriting the efforts here. There are links to Patreon and Ko-Fi below. All right, let's dive right into it, man. Zappa soundtrack. This is the soundtrack to the Frank Zappa documentary, which came out at the end of 2020, directed by Alex Winter. Long in the works, long anticipated, and well worth the wait. Let me just say that. As a little side note, I'm going to say that we're going to review the Blu-ray and DVD, whatever form it comes out. I think that's getting released next month, so stay tuned for that. Today, we're just going to be talking about the 3 CD soundtrack set, which was just recently released. As I said, it's 3 CDs. We'll take a look at it here. Sort of a folding out kind of situation here with some nice photographs of musicians through the times and so forth. We have 3 CDs. The first 2 CDs are focusing primarily on Zappa's music, rightfully so, one would think. And the third CD is mostly taken up by the kind of ambient underscore bits and pieces which were composed by John Frisell, no relation to Bill Frisell, or even Lefty Frisell, right? Am I right? Am I right? Hey! No, but seriously, continuing on. The focus of the first CD is primarily on the work that Zappa did in the 1960s, going from the early 1960s, the stuff he did at Studio Z in Cucamonga, going up to the end of the 1960s. And you hear a particular emphasis on the rhythm and blues foundation of Zappa's music. Something he never lost, something you hear all the way from the beginning all the way to the end. And Zappa would tell you his 2 big influences in life is rhythm and blues and what was later called doo-wop. At the time it was just called, vocal music or rock and roll, of course, and the music of Edgar Varese. And let me just say, on that note, Edgar Varese as well as Igor Stravinsky, 2 of his biggest influences. There are actually excerpts from pieces by Stravinsky and Varese as well on that first CD. So you get a little bit of a better picture of how these things fit together in Zappa's mind. As well as on that first CD, we have some little audio snippets of interviews, a track by the GTOs, an early production of Zappa's, and a Alice Cooper track, because Alice Cooper was associated with Zappa in the early days. Zappa started to produce the first Alice Cooper album, but walked out halfway through it, and that's a long story, and you can go look that up somewhere else. We won't go into that right now. The second CD kind of takes us from the 70s all the way up through the early 90s and Zappa's death. There's a lot of stuff on here, on both CDs, on the first CD and the second CD. For the hardcore Zappa fan, there are plenty of pieces, unreleased pieces, that you can't get anywhere else. On the first CD, there's a little suite of doo-wop, again, or vocal music bits from live at the Whiskey A Go-Go in 1968, one of these legendary lost Zappa albums that we heard Joe Travers talk about. You want to dive deep into the trivia, man, I'll get it all for you right here. Joe Travers mentioned, oh, we got the master tapes for this, and it was supposed to come out, but I never did. Okay, you get a little bit of that on there. On the second disc, you get the bass and drums early version of Moe's Vacation, of course, the piece that was later expanded into Moe and Herb's Vacation and appeared on the London Symphony Orchestra album, right? It's just amazing stuff. I mean, for the Zappa obsessive, people like me who have the near complete discography, the 62 albums he released when he was alive, and the, going over 100 albums that have come out since his death. I mean, there's still bits and pieces like that right there. I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's amazing stuff. Now, again, the third disc is taken up primarily by John Frisell's soundtrack bits. I find it interesting. I find it great stuff. It's not Zappa music, but it's great music all the same. And then at the very end of the third disc, you have a selection of Zappa's quote-unquote serious music. You have some of the music that he recorded with the London Symphony Orchestra. You have a couple pieces done with the Ensemble Moderne. And you have, at the very end, you have a previously unreleased version of his signature guitar piece, Watermelon in Easter Hay, a live rendition of this. Again, the question that always comes up, if you already have all of these Zappa albums, do you need to buy this? I would say there are very few casual Frank Zappa fans. Once you get into this stuff, it's like you get into it. You just dive deep into it. And so for people like me, here's another little thing coming out. It's like, of course I'm going to get it. Are you kidding me? What? What are we talking about here? Frank Zappa, all right? Give me a break. You know what I'm talking about? So I say it's worth it. I give it, if I'm ranking these kind of things, I don't know, 9 out of 10. But, really, it's not a competition. It's all about, it's good music. It's solid stuff. And are you going to enjoy it if you're a Frank Zappa fan? Of course you are. Of course you are. That's a silly question. Give me a break, all right?
To find out more about the Zappa original motion picture soundtrack, please visit zappa.com and check out the description below this video. Thanks for watching. Check out more at www.catsynth.com and please subscribe to CatSynth TV.
Hey, you are watching CatSynth TV!